Good morning, creative people. Welcome to the last morning event of 2024. Wow, right? We're gathered here in this shared energy and intention of this idea of vision. And as we move and hear from our guest speakers, we would like to invite you to think about an area of your life that you have an incredible vision for. And as humans, we can have this tendency to envision not our big vision, but to envision the worst case scenario, to envision the future where our big dreams don't work out. But we are Creative Mornings Atlanta, and we don't do that. So is there anybody in the audience brave enough to shout out a big vision that they have for their life? Yes, new job, growing a business, yes. I didn't hear that one. Resources and health for everyone, yes. These are beautiful visions, and the reason I ask to share them is because something powerful happens when this many people gather together with a shared energy and intention. Manifestation is real, and visualizing our vision helps it come true. We would like to start today's event by thanking all of our amazing volunteers and sponsors who help make these events possible. Give it up for our volunteers. They work very early in the morning for free to bring this event to us. All of you who are willing to be here at 8 a.m. on a Friday in the name and spirit of creativity and community. How amazing is that? We have all of our local partners and sponsors, starting with our coffee this morning, East Pole Coffee, who says that they are a wholesaler who makes your job easy. So if you need wholesale coffee, you know where to go. We have White Windmill right next door. Yes, woo! Give it up. They are a new take on Korean classics. We have our amazing Greg Harding Films. He is always with us, making us look and sound amazing. He does amazing brand storytelling work and documentary-style videos, so if you know a brand who needs video content, and I'm gonna tell you, that's everyone, he's your guy. Now, if you are new to Creative Mornings or new to Atlanta, know that this is not the only chapter and event that we're doing this. There are 200 chapters worldwide who are all gathering this month with the intention of big vision. And our first guest speakers today, Megan Gibbons and Kelly Rosenberger, they are a dynamic duo who has helped make Atlanta iconic in the way that we know it today. Megan first came to Atlanta to work on the Georgia Aquarium, and as she was telling me before we got started, Atlanta did what it does, and it pulled her in, and now this is home. So she met Kelly when she started working on the Beltline, and the Beltline was in need of great new branding, great new brand storytelling, graphics, communications, the whole 9 yards. And so they have worked together on that project, and they're here to share more about this iconic project that makes Atlanta as we know it today. Please give it up for them. Thank you.
Good morning. We're so excited to be here with you all this morning. How many of you all have walked, rode, biked, jogged along the Beltline? Wow, so many of you. It's great to have you all already in the Beltline community. We're here today to talk to you about the Beltline brand and website redesign projects. But more importantly, we're here to talk a little bit about how having a really strong vision is critical for a successful design project. I'll turn it over to Megan to talk a little bit about the initial challenge and what brought the two of us together.
Good morning, everybody. So a lot of people don't know that the Beltline was actually first envisioned by a Georgia Tech student in 1999 about taking an abandoned railroad that's been segregating our city and turning it into an infrastructure project. And so now the Beltline is one of the largest urban redevelopment projects in the world. And what we're doing is we're increasing mobility, we're fostering culture, and making sure that we have economic opportunities for all. And so the problem that we came to Alloy with was we had a website that was created more than 10 years ago. It had grown to over 4,500 pages of all kinds of old documents and things that nobody knew. And we had a brand that was created 20 years ago next year, because it's our 20th anniversary. And so what we really realized is that we needed something that was talked more about today. And so like our website specifically, it was really built about something that's coming, not something that's seeing all of you guys on it along with 2 other million visitors each year. And so what we decided is that both the website and the brand needed a huge overhaul, and we really wanted to make sure that it fit the evolution of the Beltline brand as to where it is today and where it's going. And our goal was really to make sure that both our digital and our physical presence represented our current vision, but also equipped us with the infrastructure that was needed for 2030 and beyond.
So from its inception, the Beltline was a truly visionary project for Atlanta. And we knew that our task was really to take that visionary spirit and translate that into a new brand and website. So we started off knowing that we needed to align on a vision. We started with internal interviews to understand the business goals for the future as well as for today. And then we dug into community interviews, focus groups, and talking to people from all different parts of Atlanta. One of the areas that we dug into was actually the original logo, as you can see on the right-hand side. We really wanted to understand where is that need, where are the pain points, and what's the brand perception? So we did interviews locking in on the different logos based on some that were redesigned, some that were original. And we found very quickly that people were ready for a new logo. We polled many different groups of people and found that 76% of them preferred one of the 4 new brands as opposed to the existing, and 0% actually chose the original. So we knew right away that there was an area for opportunity there, and also there was a need in that area. So this was just one example of a huge area for us to focus on. The next thing we did was really align on our 4 strategic goals that led us to the next phase of the project. Those were inclusivity across the board. So that's really testing things like color, brand design, fonts, just making sure that all of the brand elements really resonate across the board with the communities that are fostered by the Beltline. It's audience first thinking, really making sure that because the Beltline speaks to so many different audiences, we're segmenting things like home pages and allowing people to find the type of information they need when they need it. An experience for one and all. We carefully crafted the architecture and technical experience to make sure that the website was accessible for all. And then lastly, reimagine storytelling. We took a progressive approach to storytelling from top to bottom, ensuring that content was really interesting, digestible, and focused for every audience. So with those 4 strategic goals in mind, we dove into the design process. The first thing that we looked at was the historic logo, shown on the left here. While some parts of the logo were problematic for functional reasons, we knew that it would be critical for us to strike a balance between the past and the future. We intentionally maintained the logo font, the shape of the overall brand mark, as well as the blues and greens that represented land and water. But we knew that there was room for opportunity and, in some ways, improvement. So we started to introduce an entirely new brand mark, which we call the beacon. We also introduced the color red. The color red is synonymous with Atlanta, whether you've noticed it or not. from our sports teams to our largest companies to even the Georgia red clay under our feet. Red is a really critical part of our city at large. The next step in the design process was to carry out that brand vision through all of our brand touch points. So you can see on this slide how the brand elements started to take shape across different touch points. As we started to evolve the brand at a more holistic scale, we knew every touch point needed to be visually relevant to each of the audiences that we talked about. The feeling of the brand needed to be as vibrant and diverse as the Beltline itself, and we needed to make sure that storytelling was prioritized in every experience that you have with the brand. So we introduced a much wider color palette to embrace cultures across the Beltline community and make sure that everyone felt seen and heard. We leaned into the power of rich photography and visuals and created a tone and voice for storytelling that was more appropriate to the vibrancy and excitement of the Beltline experience itself. The last step in our brand project journey was the website redesign. One huge factor of the digital footprint was to improve usability and accessibility across the site. Whether you're trying to find information about artists along the Beltline or the trails, or you want to find an amazing restaurant on your walk home from work along the Beltline, we needed to make sure that everyone could find exactly the information that they were looking for in a quick and easy way. So we were really undergoing that process of marrying function and form together to create a digital seamless experience. Another key aspect of the project was creating a truly accessible site. And we're actually really proud that we have a 100% score for accessibility on desktop. I'll hand it over to Megan to speak on the outcomes and some of the future plans from the business side.
Thanks, Kelly. So the big question we've got, was the investment worth it? Has it been successful? And the response is absolutely yes. I think the thing that we're really excited about is if you go to our website, that storytelling that really talks about the vibe, not just of the Beltline, but of Atlanta, exudes in everything that we do. Having the diverse color palette has allowed us to have that freedom that really matches the diverse audiences that we talk to, because we're working on creating economic development opportunities for communities. We're making sure that it's still affordable and we have affordable housing opportunities for our communities and our visitors. And so we've been given fun, but then there's also the data, and the data has said absolutely. So we've got 40% more people coming to the website, and then they're staying on it and engaging with it for 42% more than before. And so the results have just been fantastic, and so we've been really excited. I think it shows the relationship that we've had with Alloy. It really was a member of our team, and we're really just excited because we've now created this user experience that fits all of our diverse audiences, but also feels authentically Atlanta.
So just like the Beltline itself, this redesign is not just a project, it's really a commitment to the future. We designed with intention to serve the people of Atlanta for years to come and to mirror the Beltline's own visionary spirit. As designers, it's really our job to envision the future for our clients, but also to give them the tools so that they're ready to make an impact today. Thank you all so much for being a part of the Beltline community, and if you haven't yet, check out the trail, check out the website, and keep an eye out for more exciting things to come in the next year.
Give it up one more time for Kelly and Megan. Oh, hey. Good morning, everybody. We are here at Creative Mornings Atlanta. I am your chapter host. My name is Amina Brown. So thank y'all for coming out here. Do y'all love this space? Isn't it great? So I want to welcome you. How many of you this is your first time to Uptown Atlanta? Anybody? Yeah, first timers. Love to see it. Okay. So you are right now in the Uptown Atlanta atrium. Oh my God, my team is like, girls, please give the announcements in order. I'm gonna come back to that. Let's talk about this first. Okay, Hurricane Helene prevented us from having our event last month, bless. So we are going to do that event in November instead, okay? We're doing a photography workshop right now. That event is already sold out. However, Some people that had their tickets might not be able to make it, okay? So go ahead and put your name on the wait list if you want to learn how to photograph objects. I know some of you have businesses and different things, you know, you want to take a picture of. You can learn how to do that, what? For free. Also, MPB, who is our title sponsor this year, and if you don't know about MPB, how many people are into photography, whether it's professional or as a hobbyist? Okay, I got a few people here. You want to know about MPB because photography things are expensive, are they not? You could just buy, sell, trade. You could do all sorts of stuff. So MPB is actually going to bring some cameras that night as well. So be around. Don't miss it. Okay, wow. Now let me do this in order. Okay. Now back to Uptown. Listen, you are right now in the Uptown atrium, okay? We are between two towers. You too can have events at Uptown for a fee, okay? You can do it. It can happen, okay? There is office space around here. There are going to be restaurants. You already saw some. Uptown Test Kitchen is over there with pop-up chefs over there. There are all sorts of things to happen over here. You could take MARTA, pull off at Lindbergh right there. So many things. Okay, so make sure y'all follow at Uptown Atlanta on IG also. Uptown is hosting the 4th annual Laughs, Llamas, and Pajamas. That's a real thing. Okay, on Main Street, November 21st, that is 6 to 9. Listen, you could come there, see some llamas, wear your pajamas, okay? But you know what else you could do? You could bring some pajamas to what? Donate to my sister's house. You could feel good and do good. Don't we love that type of thing? Okay, so make sure y'all come out here November 21st. There'll be hot cocoa and all the things. Hopefully it will actually be cold by that time, so you can enjoy your hot cocoa, okay. Also, how many of y'all walked around and looked at the art here? You checked out the art installation? Yes, look at y'all being artsy in the morning. Well, this art is here because of the Hambidge Center, okay? And if you're not familiar with the Hambidge Center, if you have creative projects, arts projects, and you're like, oh my gosh, I just can't with my roommate, with my kids, with my neighbors, I need a place I can go and work on my things, Hambidge is here for you, okay? And Hambidge is having an auction in this very space tomorrow. And the streets told me it's a masquerade theme. Don't you love a masquerade theme? Don't you want to wear a mask for fun this time? Okay, I want to bring up Jamie, the executive director of Hambidge, to talk to y'all a little bit. And I want you to get your plans together, get you a date or something so you can come to the auction. Jamie, talk to the people.
Thank you so much. We're so excited for y'all to be here. This marks the 90th anniversary of the Hambidge Center Nurturing Creativity. Can I get a woot woot? So you can understand why we love seeing all of your faces. We are all creative and we're all connected. The Hambidge Center is 2 hours north of here, 600-acre creative sanctuary committed to artists. Dancers, chefs, scientists, musicians, visual artists, writers. We welcome 8 at a time to escape the noise of the city and really just retreat, recharge, and dive deep into their craft. Got a chef who cooks for them, takes care of all of their needs. And we need to do that. We need to invest in our own creativity. So thank you again for the work that you all do, and stay committed to that creativity. Another note, well, first of all, I want to, can my staff, we are all artists doing mighty work. Can we wave our hands? If anybody ever has a question about the artwork, there's just a few of us, yeah. You're not going to see a bunch of us. There's a lot of work to be done. Thank you. Please reach out to one of us, and we'll help you about the auction. If you listen real, you don't even have to listen that hard, but stop and listen. Yeah, that's the artist on these walls calling your name to get on your walls. Put some inspiration in your home, y'all. These are the artists who have come to Hambidge, amazing Atlanta artists, and their work inspires so many people, and I will say people could come across the country to come to Hambidge. And we look forward to you all coming. We've just built some new buildings. We now offer workshops and leadership retreats. So please, again, see the staff, look up hambidge.org, come tomorrow night wearing a mask. We're all going to have a lot of fun. Super proud. We were founded, again, 90 years ago by Mary Hambidge, a professional whistler and weaver, a true visionary woman. And it helps me, I'm very proud to share the stage with Charmaine because she's a visionary woman. She's been to Hambidge. Her work is right here. There's a lot of love in the room. So thank you again. We're really proud to have you all here. And we look forward to seeing you up at Hambidge very soon.
Thank you, Jamie. Okay, now, Hambidge said that we can give away a couple of tickets to the auction tomorrow, okay? So I want to know, is anybody's birthday today? No one. Tomorrow. I need an October birthday is what I'm saying. Okay, I got one right here. I have one winner, yes. Any other October birthdays in the house today? Libras? Hello? I need two more. Okay, let's see, what about a November? Do I have a November birthday here today? When were y'all born? Okay, because, hello? December? Is there a December? Okay. You right here in the purple. Okay, listen, the three of y'all, listen to me. Y'all gonna see Catherine. Catherine is in the back with her hand raised. Okay, y'all gonna see Catherine because Catherine said, y'all gonna go back there, you gonna get a ticket for yourself and a +1, okay? So if you got a boo, you could take them. If you don't like them anymore, get you another one and take that person, bring a friend, okay, yes. All right, I think I told y'all everything I'm supposed to say. Some of y'all might be like, what is this? What am I at? Is this your first time? Let me see first timers to Creative Mornings Atlanta. Okay, so a lot of y'all been here, but if it's your first time, you're like, who are y'all and what is this? Creative Mornings Atlanta, we are one of over 200 chapters globally of Creative Mornings. So we have events just like all these other cities around the world on a global theme, right? For our chapter, we do things a little bit different. So we have morning and evening events. So we alternate. So our last event of the year will be the photography workshop for November. But follow us at Atlanta_CM. We do 10 free events all year with free food. Come on, you love free stuff. All right, are y'all ready for our speaker? Because I'm ready. Are y'all ready for our speaker? You in there, okay. Y'all, I'm so excited. Not only are you getting to see some of her art here, but I am very, very honored that we get to have her as our speaker. Y'all give it up for an artist firmly rooted in womanist social theory and ancestral veneration. I know that's right. Served as the Stuart A. Rose Library Artist in Residence at Emory University, creator of the Praise House Project. You show your love for visual artist and creator Charmaine Minniefield.
Good morning. I am going to start by ceremoniously with you all putting my apron on for the first time. This is a tribute to those who were lost this past weekend at Sapelo. We lost 7 of our elders to the ocean because of a faulty gangway after a Gullah Geechee gathering. And we're going to take a moment of silence for them as I, in their honor, wear my apron. Thank you so much for remembering our ancestors now that took flight. We are grateful for this safe space and gathering, that we can remember them and embody their legacy of freedom today inside of our bodies. So thank you all. My name is Charmaine Minniefield, and I'm the great-granddaughter of Orly Fuquay. My family was first enslaved in Fuquay-Varina, North Carolina, and forced migrated because of land grants to Tennessee, Kentucky, and Indiana eventually, where we ended up because our family fled in order to escape the consequences of retaliation. So we never could go back to Kentucky. This project maps my great-grandmother's memories by recalling the ring shout, a full-bodied rhythmic prayer that she taught me. And we're going to have a moment with the Praise House. It was the structure that we built in secret safe spaces to perform this communal prayer. The images that you're seeing are a collage and combination of archives and the ritual performed both in West Africa and here on these parts. You will see the Gullah Geechee ring shouters. In this image, 5 of them, our elders, went into the water. They survived, they're in the hospital, but I wanted to acknowledge them as you see them today in this image. We project this ring shout, this digital ring shout, inside of the interior of the Praise House. And it rests in community as a monument to memory and freedom. So we're gonna watch my grandmother's memories. song was recorded in First Congregational Church by a beautiful vocalist, Melisha Jesse Taylor, and our beloved Salah Anansa as a composer. We built praise houses in communities where our history has been erased. I work with a collaborative of artists. The visuals that you saw were created in collaboration with Kimberly Benz, an amazing digital media artist. Our sound installation inside the Praise House is actually created by Santiago Paramore. And the project has been made possible by a myriad of donors and sponsors, including the National Endowment for the Arts. It first was presented by Flux Projects at Oakland Cemetery, where it honored the 800 plus unmarked graves that were there. We center the memory of the ring shout, a full-bodied rhythmic prayer, our indigenous cultural memory that we preserved in plain sight inside of our faith practices as resistance to laws that were intended to dismantle our identity. We built praise houses. The law that made it illegal for us to have a drum, the praise house was our drum. It was a fully communal drum. We would stand in circle and sing and call and response. That's the image you're seeing. And that would go on all night long. The ring shout, the ring shout. The most famous ring shout is Watch Night Service. Anybody remember Watch Night Service? Folks remember that term? That's when we performed the ring shout all night long before emancipation. The next day, when the Emancipation Proclamation took effect, was called Jubilee. Yes. So when you hear our language, in our language, the word Jubilee, it means that a ring shout took place. Our prayers in community took place. It was illegal to have drums because that was a form of communication. So we created a whole new language with the formation of a praise house and the beating of the floor in community. A whole new language was created. So the project erects praise houses to remember this medicine in community. We meditated in community, not in solitude. We meditate in motion, not in stillness. So our medicine is what we are remembering in the practice. So the work is inspired by significant moments in history where we have been erased. When George Floyd happened, I was inspired to create the project at the site of the 800 unmarked graves in Oakland Cemetery. Then we went to Emory University, where we acknowledged slavery and dispossession. And we went into the slave voyages database, and we invited families to return back to their descendant communities. And we acknowledged descendant communities right here in the city. Bagley Park, just a half a mile from here on Farr Road, is a descendant community of those who were enslaved to this land. Now the house rests at Beacon Hill, a freedman's town. And let me tell you, when we saved it from Emory and we lifted it onto a flatbed, like a praise house would have been at emancipation, we rescued it from its point of slavery and we moved it at all costs to a point of freedom. And now it rests at Beacon Hill, a freedman's town in downtown Decatur. And we named it a freedman's town. We acknowledge the legacy of the institutions that were formed there, of the hopefulness that that land holds. It is our earliest memories of freedom. Beacon Hill, the bottom, is what they called Beacon Hill, affectionately, the bottom. And now we plan to move it. We plan to move it to the site of the 1906 race massacre. Our prayer is that we can lift it on a flatbed again and travel it along the path of the mob and pray for the land as we go. And then it will rest where the victims rest still, at Southview Cemetery, Brownsville, a freedmen settlement targeted by the mob, just like the King Historic District, Auburn Avenue. 3 days later, it ended in South Atlanta, the mob, at Brownsville, where folks took up arms in defense. And finally, the massacre ended there. And the victims rest at Southview. And Southview was established, y'all, as this beautiful monument for how we wanted our families to rest after the mistreatment of us at Oakland Cemetery. Southview was created. You gotta go. It's gorgeous. It is so beautiful, rolling hills, over 100 acres. 80,000 of our ancestors rest there now. All of the civil rights leaders that rose up after that massacre, they rest at Southview. All of the first gas station owners, all the first post office folk, all the first everything are at Southview, our history. The project uplifts historic preservation in these spaces. They do not have a perpetual care. That community was targeted by the mob in order to disrupt Black potential, economic potential. And that trauma still plays out in these spaces. So where it rests now is a space of freedom. I feel that memory and that wisdom is the medicine that we need to see, we need to hold as an archive for the world today. We have witnessed erasure. We've witnessed violence. We've witnessed harm. But we've also held freedom. Our memories survived freedom. The Middle Passage and all of the harm still today, that memory of freedom is what we hold in the work. Our effort is to continue to move the project to other sites of memory, the Chattahoochee Brick Company. We would like to do a collaboration with the city for Pittsburgh Yard, for Bagley Park, and then around the region. We are lifting up the historic preservation efforts of our elders in Darien, Georgia, which is the city across from Sapelo, and all of our descendant communities in the Gullah Geechee Coast and their effort to repurpose these sites. We want to center the voice of the descendants and not to continue to erase them, is our work. So please follow us, praisehouseproject.org. Lift us up in your prayers. We are holding the memories of our ancestors in our bodies like our ancestors before to preserve our indigenous identity here and everywhere. And I think we're coming to some of our archives from our work at Beacon Hill. We include oral histories. I actually go to the historic Black church. There, I get to play my tambourine. I have been working with community partners. This is an actual embodiment of freedom. Like, we're pressing the system to be able to do what we want to do with this work. We venerate our ancestors, no matter what the circumstances, no matter how dark the history. We don't forget our ancestors. So this work lifts up our ancestors in spaces that they have been forgotten, and we vow to never forget them. And we embody the practice of ancestral veneration in community. Those who were lost by the sea recently, we commit to knowing their names. And I just wanted to invite you all to come to the Praise House. It is there in Beacon Hill in downtown Decatur. We hope that you will come and remember with us our drum, remember our medicines, remember how it feels to be together, safe, in secret, safe spaces, to truly be yourself. That's our opening at Emory University. The performers are Giwaye Mata. We had children playing harps. We had a senior dance choir. It was really, really, really special. And we just want to continue to lift up this memory of freedom wherever we go as much as we can. And we thank y'all so much for listening to our story and remembering your ancestors and all of their names too. And we're listing here, I think I'm sharing the names of those who were lost. Thank y'all so much.
Goodness, oh my goodness. Thank you so much to Charmaine Minniefield. Y'all, so beautiful. We got a little bit of time to take a couple of questions. If anybody has questions they want to ask of anybody got any questions? I'm always nosy, so I can start. We got one in the back from another Minniefield. Are y'all related?
Yes, we are.
Y'all are related for real? Because I always wanted to know that. This is Charles Minniefield,
Yes.
Founder of So Left Field, if y'all are familiar, but y'all are actually related.
We figured it out. Yes, we claim each other.
Tell me your question and I'll repeat it. Question is, what hardships have you faced in trying to get this project installed and completed?
Thank you, cousin. Okay, systemic racism is real. It's still around us. This history is being placed in places where we're facing head on that systemic racism. Places of erasure. So the encounters, the community engagement often requires diversity, equity, inclusion work. Holding space for change in personal interactions, in community, right? Like allowing people to remember with you difficult history that there is an intersection with, and still allowing that history to still be recalled, and then be invested in, and then being enabled, and then being endowed for perpetuity is what we'd like to see, not just of the work, but of all of our sacred and historic sites. We are calling abundance. We're calling in sustainability. We're calling in freedom into the communities in which the work rests. So we are doing work of community change. In Beacon Hill, there is now a reparations commission, okay? That popped off after that Juneteenth celebration that y'all saw those images of. And these are descendants of those who were enslaved by Emory and Agnes Scott, my alma mater. I went there in '95 and saw cast down eyes and folk blending into the wallpaper, still in their position, and didn't know that the descendants were members of the historic church. They were my cafeteria mamas at Agnes Scott. So it continues to perpetuate a disparity of exclusion and access, right? So you're facing that at every turn as you are also asking for funding, as you're also demanding and asking for space, as you're also asking for repair, and for society to consider what would freedom look like today. That is a big part of the challenge that I've been in with this work. I am a solopreneur, newly formed nonprofit. Huge institutions partnered with me, but said I couldn't go after certain funding, but I had to raise it myself, right? And it took some serious work within that community to open up those doors to make that funding possible. And we had to watch that community transform in order to open those doors and make it so. When we broke ground and the descendants who are now employees, see, understand where you are, you're in the South. These are the first 13 colonies. This is the first point of removal, Georgia, you know, that these are this is who we are. We are descendants of those who were enslaved on this land, right? And when you see a certain presence in the labor force, acknowledging that and empowering that, centering that for the first time in some spaces, it is a shift. It's an energy that is awesome, and it's something to witness, but it's also something that's heavy and powerful to harness, to witness that. In Decatur, we are making space where space is dwindling. Right. The land and its purpose and use hasn't centered the descendants. The only historic church that remains after churches were mysteriously burned to make room for public buildings and MARTA and all of that, now this one historic church is holding on. Those descendants want to have a say about how that land is used. You know, so we're holding space. We're lifting their voice up. This was where a Confederate monument was removed by the student movement. Yes, right? And the descendant communities contributed to the decision to put the statue of John Lewis there in its place. Freedom, right? Student movement, John Lewis, right? Right? So I've been with these community members uplifting their voice. When we went to Oxford, Georgia, where Emory was founded, we rested with the elders there. That's the image of that church. That's Emory's first black church. Those are the descendants of those who were enslaved by Emory. That's their church, Rust Chapel. So we are lifting up their efforts to have reparations. They would like to see a perpetual scholarship fund for their descendants to be able to have access, you know. And we're enabling the voices of our elders. When Darien, Georgia, y'all, let me tell y'all, after we did that ring shout with Giwa and Mata at Beacon Hill for Juneteenth, 2 days later, a plantation house burned down of the most heinous enslaver who sold 432 of us in Savannah after carting us from Darien, Georgia, and storing us in a horse stable for 5 days while the rain poured down on us until the last soul was sold off, disrupting generations of an entire community. That was called the Weeping Times because it signified the weeping eyes of God, the rain for 5 days, okay? That plantation house burned down, okay? So for me, it's like, go ahead and be who you really are. Be who you are in community. Invite that power of that memory of those ancestors like they were channeling during the ring shout, during enslavement. Invite that power into today. And that is a challenge in this environment. And for me, I call it resistance, you know, because we're gonna do it. We're gonna venerate our ancestors. We're going to be free. We're going to move in community. We're going to thrive. In this environment, it's resistance because of the systems that we are a descendant of. And so that's my challenge. But I share it with you all.
Thank you, cousin.
Cousin.
I want to ask one last question, and then we're going to let y'all go. But our theme being vision, as an artist, as a creative, you have had to execute your vision, implement a vision that came to you. What thoughts or tips would you give to people who may have a vision themselves for things in our community or in their different industries? What would you say you should think about when you want to take a vision and actually see it become reality?
Okay, so, man, I got so many directions I want to go with that because our ancestors are active and real. They speak in the language of memory. So infinitely universal, we all have them. All of our ancestors speak the same language. right? But specific to you, your memories. So your language. To invite their memories, right, into your body is to remember, right? That includes remembering yourself, remembering your own power, being mindful and present in yourself, right? And then collectively in community being present in that. So that is that's the complicated way of saying affirmation, right? Affirm your own vision. Affirm your own imagination. Know it is possible. When we gathered in praise houses and secret safe spaces and began to do the ring shout all night long, we were conjuring freedom, right? Another day that's called Jubilee is guess when? When Sherman arrived. When Sherman arrived is called Jubilee. So ring shouts took place the night before and fire came. You know? So that's, when I tell that story, I want you to know that it's all possible, no matter the shitstorm that we're in. And I really think it's super important that those who are descendant of slavery on this side of the water and throughout the diaspora who've been taken and affected by colonization and erasure, we have to hold that archive and be a witness to humanity of what is happening now. And for that, I feel that we hold the vision. We hold the memory of freedom from before all of this. So let us embrace our indigeneity. Yes, all of us. Let us remember the names and memories of our ancestors so that you can continue to receive those downloads in the language of your memories. Yes. And let that empower you to know that everything is possible. Look at what folks did in Beacon Hill. You know, in the face of depravity, in the face of white supremacy, in the face of Confederate monuments, folks carving on mountains and stuff. You know, we still built institutions. We still thrive, we still accomplish, we still somehow, you know, won the state championship the year that the school was integrated, you know, that kind of thing. Innovation, all of that. It happened in the face of that storm. And we ask for peace, but you know that peace comes right first within, on the inside, you know. And that's what I mean by resting in memory.
Y'all give it up one more time for Charmaine Minniefield. Thank y'all so much. See y'all in November. Have a great week, everybody.